European leaders including President Emmanuel Macron of France, Chancellor Olaf Scholz of Germany, and Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni of Italy met for dinner on Monday to talk about some pretty important stuff. The big topic? Deciding who gets the top jobs in the EU. These top positions include the European Council President, the European Commission President, and the High Representative of the Union of Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. But what do these roles actually do? The European Council is where the heads of state of the 27 EU member states come together, along with its very own president. They set the EU's overall political direction and priorities. The President of the European Council represents the EU externally and ensures everyone's working together smoothly. Right now, Antonio Costa from Portugal is the most likely candidate for this role. He's part of the Socialists and Democrats, also called S&D Group, and was the Prime Minister of Portugal. He is known for his practical approach to leadership and focus on social and economic issues. On to our next institution, the European Commission, which is like the executive branch of the EU. It's responsible for proposing new laws, implementing decisions, upholding the EU treaties, and managing day-to-day affairs. The President of the European Commission leads this group of 27 commissioners, one from each EU country. Right now, Ursula von der Leyen from Germany is likely to continue for a second term. She's part of the center-right European People's Party and has been in office since 2019, championing big initiatives like the European Green Deal. Lastly, there's the High Representative of the Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, which is the EU's chief diplomat. This person shapes and carries out the EU's foreign and security policy, making sure the EU speaks with one voice on the international stage. Right now, Kaja Kallas, the Prime Minister of Estonia, is the frontrunner for this role. She's part of the Renew Europe group and is known for her strong stance on security and her efforts to boost digital innovation and cybersecurity in the EU. This lineup of candidates represents the three largest groups in the EU. The top job, President of the European Commission, is set to go to the EPP, the largest group. The other two roles are lined up for the second and third largest groups. Plus, it's a great mix geographically, with representation from Southern Europe, Western Europe, and Northeastern Europe. But hold on, these names are not set in stone yet. At the end of the month on June the 27th and 28th, there's an official meeting where these leaders are likely to be confirmed. But there are significant obstacles. First, the EPP is getting a bit greedy. They think they should get a piece of the European Council pie too. Traditionally, a council presidency term is 2.5 years, usually extended to match the Commission's 5-year term. But now, the EPP is proposing to split it up. 2.5 years for the S&D and 2.5 years for the EPP, a move that's ruffled the socialists, who were set to take their turn holding this post. Considering that the EPP will most likely also have their candidate Metsola as the parliament president, isn't this asking for a bit too much? Second, the more centrist-leaning party negotiators held their own private pre-meetings and left Meloni out. This might be a very big mistake. Meloni was visibly annoyed, and Viktor Orban even tweeted about it. Meloni's protest might not be enough to stall the process, but the EPP's council split idea is causing delays that could have serious consequences for von der Leyen. For example, this might give much needed time for the conservative and far-right to get their act together. If the ECR, the IND, and other far-right players like the AFD and Fidesz could quickly form a mega group ahead of June the 27th, it would shake everything up. And even small gains by the ECR group could make it harder to justify keeping the top jobs within the center. And third, even if everything is confirmed on the 27th, the Commission President-elect, most likely Ursula von der Leyen, will face another tough challenge, getting the green light from the European Parliament in mid-July. But what do you think? Are you happy with these choices? Please like the video and hit the subscribe button if you enjoy the content. And consider following us on Instagram for even more content. And if you want to support us further, please sign up to Patreon. Until next time.